Megan Lancaster was supposedly an American lawyer who was living in England in 2015 and 2016. She was interested in politics. She represented several wealthy Republican-inclined political donors, some of whom she said had given money to support Carly Fiorina's presidential campaign. She also said one of her clients was a British billionaire who was interested in donating a lot of money to American political causes through his American-born wife. In late 2015 and early 2016, so right at the height of the Republican primary for president, this Megan Lancaster got in touch with members of a Never Trump super PAC, a group of Republicans who were against Trump and who are working to stop him from getting the Republican nomination, to stop him from getting elected. Megan Lancaster got in touch with those Republicans. She was very nice, she was very friendly, very helpful, and she offered these Never Trump people access to her rich donors and their money to help fund their Never Trump Republican super PAC and all their other efforts to stop Trump. That said, in the end, Megan Lancaster never wound up arranging any actual donations to the Never Trump movement because Megan Lancaster, it turns out, was not real. Fake persona. This is such a good story, and now it is a great story with a big surprise ending. Okay, August 2016, so late during the presidential election, once Trump had the nomination, he's running against Clinton, Politico.com had this scoop about how anti-Trump activists in the Republican Party were being targeted by a catfishing campaign. Catfishing is kind of an annoying term, but in this case what it means is that these anti-Trump Republicans got a bunch of very friendly and ultimately very inquisitive emails and phone calls from appealing fake personas, like the lovely and talented and well-connected and totally fake Megan Lancaster. The point of the fake Megan Lancaster scam was to get those anti-Trump Republicans to tell the person who'd made up that fake persona all their secrets, to tell all about their anti-Trump activism, including all their plans for their anti-Trump super PAC. So it's already sort of a spy story, right? There's the fake persona, an effort to get information from political activists, information that would be very helpful to their opponents in that campaign. But then it got even more dramatic, because after the whole fake email buddy scam, one of the anti-Trump Republicans who'd been targeted in that scam also discovered that her email had been hacked. Her name is Sherry Jacobus. She's a person who appears on cable news sometimes. She may be a recognizable face to you. But after this catfishing campaign targeting her and other anti-Trump Republicans, after that campaign ran through late 2015 and through the primaries into early 2016, she ended up reporting that catfishing effort to authorities. This fraud that seemed like an effort to get valuable political information from her and other people she knew under false pretenses. She reported it to federal authorities that spring, in the spring of 2016. Federal prosecutors in New York actually responded by locking a guy up for doing that. The guy who they believe did it was a convicted con man who was out on bail already, awaiting the start of a 4.5-year federal prison sentence. Part of his bail conditions were that he wasn't allowed to use a computer at all. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York found out that they believed this guy was not only using a computer, he was using a computer to carry out this catfishing fraud campaign against these Republican political activists. And they immediately revoked his bail and ordered him to start serving his prison sentence immediately. So spy story, gets very dramatic, guy gets locked up, and then it gets even weirder. Because a few months after that, after the guy who catfished her has already been in prison for months, a few months later, in August 2016, that is when somebody hacked Sherry Jacobus's email account and deleted thousands of her emails. There's already a guy in prison, in part because of his apparent effort to trick anti-Trump Republicans into giving up information about their efforts against Trump during the campaign. While that guy is in prison, one of those anti-Trump activists gets hacked as well? I mean, unless the guy had unsupervised federal prison time with an internet-enabled computer, that timing implies that somebody else besides that imprisoned, convicted con man might have been in on this concerted effort to hack and attack anti-Trump activists within the Republican Party. Now, publicly at the time, Sherry Jacobus said she believed allies of Trump and his campaign were behind that hack. Not publicly at the time, she reached out to the FBI. To the FBI's cyber division to ask them to please investigate this hacking of her inbox in the middle of the presidential campaign. That was 2 years ago. And since then, we hadn't heard much from this really interesting case until now. I said this has a surprise ending. This is the surprise ending. Now, Ben Schreckinger at Politico.com is first to report that this case, that the catfishing effort against these Never Trump Republican activists, and then the hacking of one of them thereafter, this case has now become part of the Robert Mueller investigation. Why is that? The FBI Cyber Division, prosecutors in the Southern District of New York have apparently referred this case to the special counsel's office. That's according to Sherry Jacobus herself, who says that's what the FBI told her. Quote, federal law enforcement officials have referred a 2-year-old email hacking investigation to special counsel Robert Mueller, according to the Republican operative who was the target of the hack. Quote, Jacobus told Politico that FBI agents in the Bureau's Cyber Division informed her this month that they had, in September, that they had forwarded their investigation to Mueller. Quote, it is not clear what led the FBI to conclude that Mueller has jurisdiction over this matter. Yeah, not clear indeed. I mean, Mueller's mandate is to investigate Russia's attack on the election to help Trump win, and the related question of whether the Trump campaign was aware of and helped in that Russian attack. And now the FBI has apparently concluded that that investigation should expand to include the hack of a Never Trump Republican activist during the campaign. What is it about this case, and what don't we know about what the special counsel is working on that made the FBI